Okay, welcome to Luke Mones Explained, everybody. My guest today, I was thinking it would be funny if you know how when there's multiple hosts on a podcast and they talk
Sure.
before they bring the guests on?
Yeah.
If I just spoke. Like, has anyone ever done that for a solo podcast?
I have
it's
not
like
seen that
with
one.
one guest and I just speak. I go, yeah, it's a fun drive over here. Not a lot of traffic. Don't come on yet. Michael Turner, thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah. Are you actually like break me down right in front of me? This
I
next
wasn't
guest,
gonna-
it's going to be a dry conversation.
I wasn't going to do that. I feel like, this pod is still kind of in its early stages, and I don't really know what the intro. I feel like you come back in a year.
Oh, it's going to
The
be.
intro is going to be a well-oiled machine.
Oh, yeah.
I think the center body of it. I think I know what it looks like, but the beginning
The
couple
intro?
of minutes.
Intro's key. I mean, first of all, the intro to this podcast as a whole has got two big gets out the gate. List and Jordan. That's crazy, dude.
That's true. Now this is going to be out of time because people are unless you come out this week.
Oh, no. No, I'll come out
You're
months
pushed.
from now.
You're 2026.
No, this is maybe Q3. if I make it Q2, I'm shocked. Am I a Q2 boy?
You watched the List episode?
No, well, everybody out there, if you watch, you should start from the beginning.
Yeah.
If you're watching this as your first introduction, go back. Because, the List.
This is a chronological podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Harry Potter.
You're banking them. I'm banked.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't take that as a slight. We bank. We can't do
No.
things every week. I mean, unless I had some sort of situation where like I was like, we record at 4 p.m. every Wednesday, no matter what. But
Yeah.
we just don't really have that. That's not our life.
Nobody has that.
I mean,
no.
people do. People
do.
have that.
People do.
But
But
we
what you're
don't.
doing is the smart way.
I appreciate
Which is,
that.
I mean, yeah. You're a smart man. You got a big head on you.
I do have a big head.
It's a large head.
You got kind of a big head, but you see me and you go.
No, that's a large head. What are you looking at? Like at the lids?
I want
7
you-
3/4?
I want you to go ahead and guess. 7 3/4 is a mighty fine guess.
Really? Yeah, that's like honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen an 8. Really? Oh my God. So you're literally the last hat on every rack?
I walk into Lids and they just shake their head.
Are you over? You're 8 1/4? What are
I
you?
walk into Lids and they go into the panic room.
Oh my
They
God.
hide out.
The embroidery
It's crazy.
guy's like, dude, I can't put a rose on that. You want me to put a rose on the side of his Dodger hat? Are you kidding me?
We need to get a bigger rose.
What is this? I don't even know the dimensions.
Yeah, I got an 8. This was me and did you play Little League?
Yeah. Come on.
All right.
Come on.
I played Little League a couple of years.
I was a slap hitter with gap power.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I bet you're a big T-ball guy.
Big T-ball guy.
I bet you stayed in T-ball a couple of years.
Yeah, I
you
went
got
an
that
extra
energy.
year.
You were the kid with the mustache.
Yeah,
in T-ball.
exactly. I was 12 years old as a T-ball all-star.
It's like the big guy in the Little League World Series, except T-ball.
Dude, no, I peaked in like as an 8-year-old baseball player, probably. Or not 8,
Yeah.
maybe like 10, 12. I was like really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you lose it in high school?
Yeah, I was. I think I played freshman year and then I stopped. We always played like I played baseball coordinatedly or whatever you would say, like
pickup baseball?
organizational.
Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
no, in a rec league all the way till
yeah.
like senior year, but it wasn't through high school.
All right, that's serious.
We just had a bunch of dudes that just like were like. We had a guy that his dad was like a coach,
yeah.
and he would just be like, "Yo, if you got 12 of you idiots, I'm coaching."
I
Gary
never heard
Trick,
of that.
dude. God bless you. He's a great man.
That is an Ohio name right there.
Gary Trick, dude. He his kid was Adam. I'm still connected with him. I still see him when I go back to Cincinnati, and I've seen his parents since too. But his dad was a coach at a local high school, and then he would be kind enough to be the coach that you needed to get into these rec leagues. So
Yeah.
But he didn't know we were just doing mushrooms on the weekends, coming in just hungover as shit.
Dude, that sounds like it's like grown up Bad News Bears. Like you guys are just getting fucked up. And
Yeah.
there's a guy on mescaline, like he's the catcher. He thinks the pitcher is like an elephant with 8 arms.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you if we were good or bad. I just remember it being fun.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I knew rec league like basketball, but I didn't know there was rec league baseball for that.
Cincinnati, bud. It's a baseball town.
Yeah, you got to understand where I'm coming from. I'm coming from Portland, Oregon. We don't have the. You know what's big in Portland? Soccer.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
could see that.
I mean, not for me, but
Yeah.
they have. Portland has a. They
We
only
got
had
the Timbers.
I know, but that wasn't when I was growing up.
Yeah,
the
it's a big
Timbers
draw,
came
though.
like
It's a big draw.
it's a big draw, and there's a certain type of guy. All due respect, it's like a certain type of white guy with like he's got the kind of Game of Thrones ponytail.
Sure.
You know, and
You're talking. My cousin is a season ticket holder, bud.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Does he have a beard with like beads in it?
No, he's not that type. He's definitely a dude. I feel like a Timbers season ticket holder definitely likes 9-inch nails a lot.
They like 9-inch nails. They
like 90s alternative rock.
Dude, I mean,
who doesn't? I get it.
But it's Portland. I mean, you gotta understand
Yeah,
it's part of the situation. The crazy thing about Portland, I always say, is that it's all the stereotypes are true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That checks out.
It's like have you seen the movie Big Fish?
Oh, years ago.
You know how the thing of Big Fish is the dad tells all these tall tales.
Right.
And then at the end, at the dad's funeral, it's like most of the tall tales were kind of true. That's what it is about Portland, where people are like, the mailman rode a unicycle. And it's like, well, the mailman did ride a bicycle with a big wheel.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it wasn't that far off.
Oh,
Close
totally.
enough to believe.
It's 100%.
I mean, all I know about Portland is they're dive bars that also double as strip clubs.
Exactly. And I don't know if this is true anymore, but it was the most strip clubs per capita.
Well, because like anything can be a strip club. You're like literally,
Exactly.
I'm telling, like it's like a dive bar where you would get like a beer for $2.50, and then you turn to your right, and it's this chick named Toxic in the back.
You tell me about my life over here.
Dude, it was crazy. This is something that really happened to me on a Monday.
Really?
It was called Stripperoke, and
is that a karaoke pun, or
it was a you literally could go up on stage, and you could sing whatever you wanted, and you'd have a stripper behind you.
Got it.
Dancing. I honestly,
that's cool. That's a great business idea.
Great business idea. So we went with my cousin.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing this dude's, as problematic as this is, but R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly. He's singing that.
Problematic just briefly in the sense that because
Robert Kelly's.
Okay.
Robert Kelly's criminal past.
Because 100%, I just, I don't think ultimately the strip club thing is problematic because everybody's kind of,
I'm in on the strip club.
Okay, all right.
The problematic thing here is what he did to those young teenage girls in Northern Illinois.
R. Kelly, look him up.
Look him up. But the
the R. Kelly karaoke.
So they're doing I Believe I Can Fly.
Yeah.
And this stripper has angel wings, and she's doing this whole set around the strip club, the pole.
Yeah.
And honestly, this dude's hitting every note. And I almost choked up watching. I was like, dude, this is fucking what this song is made to do. Like, it was crazy. Fuck Space Jam, dude. This song is made for Stripperoke on a Tuesday night in Portland, dude.
I Believe I Can Fly.
I believed I could fly in that moment.
And you still think about it every night and day.
Yeah, there he is.
Come on.
Wow.
Now the podcast has begun. This is Luke Mones Explained. Everything else before has been cut.
It's been
We're starting with the big. Oh, this is that thing where you put in the big moment at the beginning.
Yes.
And then it's the intro. Should I do that?
You should just, look within for the answers.
You're really here at the beginning stages. This is when it's that kind of the primordial fucking clay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It'd be so funny if this is like episode 50. You're really at the beginning. We're just figuring this stuff out.
You're like, hey, man, is that pod ever coming out? I'm like, you got banked.
you got banked is so. Woof. I've been banked before.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been banked too. I mean, I've been banked. I can't remember, like, the deepest bank I've ever gotten is probably, I think we're looking at like maybe a baker's dozen.
Of episodes? Oh, I got
maybe
banked.
A little less.
I got banked farther than that, but it was a big podcast, and I literally hit the dudes up. I was like, hey, man, I know it sounds like it didn't go well enough. Let me know. I'll let you know next time I'm in town, and we can run it back. They were like, dude, no, we just banked it like crazy. Like, dude, I was like, did I do that poorly that you just... I'm not even in the bank. I'm in like, dude, I don't even know what investment scheme you put me in. I'm in an IRA.
Yeah.
You can't even touch it till you're 65.
It happened.
You can't. I'm not even banked, dude.
I'm
a long-term investment, dude.
You can't touch it.
What if I'm a CD, dude?
Dude,
Whatever
you
those
are.
Yeah.
You need they're stashing you away.
Can't touch me till I turn 18.
You're a trust.
You are a trust fund.
Yeah, you're literally the trust fund of the podcast. That happened to me with a little different. I mean, I guess, I don't know. It's not really bombing when it's a podcast. It's kind of just like a vibe thing.
I agree.
That's what I tell myself.
No, I think you're completely right.
I did a Sirius XM show. Probably shouldn't say what it is, but I did a Sirius XM show. Howard Stern. No. And it was like supposed to be like a 45-minute interview.
Uh-huh.
and I think it was a Zoom, which give me some credit.
That's
it was
tough.
a Zoom. I think you get me in the room.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, you're a
charming
room guy.
people. I am a big room guy.
You're not a Zoom guy. You're a room guy.
Dude, 100%. I'm doing
Yeah.
close-up magic.
I've always said that. Well, how does that head even fit on a Zoom? You kidding me? What, they get your eyes and your forehead?
I
That's
have one of those things that Facebook made in the early
yeah.
part of last decade, where the big camera that moves around, it just follows my head.
Sure.
It's just like a big face.
Zuck.
Yeah,
Zuck.
but they called it after like 10 minutes.
Like at 10 minutes, they were like, we're done.
I mean, they didn't go, we're done. I mean, they did it in like a professional radio way, but it was very much a thing of like,
wow,
we're going to take a break. And I was like,
oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. It's all good.
Did you lead with the Portland stuff? Yeah. The craziest thing about Portland is it's true. It's like that. And then you're like, that's why generalizations about races is actually fair. What? What's going on? We went from Portland to,
yeah, come to think of it, I think they just cut my mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I asked you before the podcast if you identify, because you're a Phoenix comic.
Yeah.
But you're a Cincinnati guy.
I'm a split life guy, really. Because at like 18, I grew up, born and raised in Cincinnati, and then moved to Phoenix and lived there for almost 16 years. So like half.
That's crazy.
It's a lot.
Why'd you go to Phoenix? Why'd you go to Arizona? Did you go to Arizona State or Arizona?
I went to Arizona State.
Arizona. Why'd you go to Arizona State?
So I was you're just 18 in high school. I didn't love my I love my family, but I didn't love like some of the family situation was going on, or like kind of, I don't want to call it chaotic because it wasn't, but I just wasn't happy with. I always remember getting to a point where I was like, man, I just want to get the fuck out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And I thought wise enough, or at least like able to see ahead of it, where I was like, I know if I don't leave right now, I'm gonna just stay here and be doing the same shit. It's a city that you can really like stay in and be really comfortable in, and I wanted to get out. And I had an aunt and uncle in Flagstaff, Arizona, and so Arizona State wasn't. It seemed far, but I knew that it was like almost like my second mother and father were in Flagstaff.
Oh wow, okay.
Like
so
they're the closest aunt and uncle to you if you have that situation.
Yeah.
And and Arizona State was taking everybody, and it seemed like it was like I knew I could get in. I did get in.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I didn't think about debt. I didn't think about, and I was like, I just need to get out of Cincinnati. And
because you didn't have the in-state.
So I'm still in debt. But
really,
honestly, whatever. We're all in debt. Like,
yeah, I mean,
we owe China. I mean, what are we talking about?
That's what you should tell student loans people.
Michael Crow, the president of Arizona State. What about China?
What about China, man? He's like,
pay them back, and then I'll pay you back. How about that?
He's like, we're gonna cut your mic.
But that, I just had to get out.
100%.
And I was happy to do it. In hindsight, I was happy I did it.
Damn. But you still have an affinity with.
But Cincinnati is like home. Yeah, it's like what I identify with most. I'm definitely very much a person from Cincy. Like I'm a hardcore sports fan because of my Cincinnati.
And you went to every Bengals away game,
road game this year.
Isn't that true?
Crazy, yeah. And Burrow got injured halfway through, and I still stuck with it.
You ever meet Burrow?
No, I don't know what I would do if I
I'm surprised that they haven't. Do you work with them?
So there's a relationship, but they didn't like contract me or anything like that. But I let them know, the organization know what I was doing, and they were I was on I was featured as a fan, kind of like a super fan or whatever, in their segments of like their in-season documentary stuff that they did on the Bengals.com.
That's crazy.
I know, it was really cool.
We'll plug it. Mic'd Up.
Yeah, Mic'd Up. Check it out on YouTube.
Very funny,
boy. Yeah,
dude. I've done a lot of that, like, man on the street stuff, and I haven't done it for a while, but I think I can relate to you on how it's a whole different muscle, first of all, than stand-up.
Yes.
And it also takes like a real kind of like courage and chutzpah. Yeah.
No,
I call it the shame like layer. You have to shed the shame layer and the embarrassment layer, and the more you do it, the better you get at shedding really quickly.
Yes.
When I first started doing man on the street stuff, it took me like an hour and a half of just going up to people and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry,"
Go through the reps.
You realize, I think what happens, and tell me if that you agree with this. I became at least kind of, I stopped thinking of them as human beings.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? the
think
stuff you have to say to people, you have to be so out of pocket. And I've seen you.
Yeah,
So how do you cope with that? What's your strategy?
I definitely don't consider anybody a human being. I actually never even thought about it like that, but I think that's why I'm capable of doing it.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever think about like their life or them having a whole perspective on life and having a line that I might cross.
Dude, that's
it's like
what I'm
just
saying.
crossing. I'm like, dude, we are across the line. When you got into my
100%.
sphere, the line's been crossed. And so like I love when they have no idea how out of pocket I'm gonna get, because the conversation typically starts very like, football.
Right.
And then it's like I can't think of a topic off the top, but like,
I mean, I can. How about that girl who was like, I want a big linebacker to fuck me, and she said in front of her dad,
and right in front of her father. Yeah, because she like photobombed my intro. She did not photobomb, video bombed or whatever. And so I was like, you can't get away from me that quick. What the hell's your deal? She clearly wanted to be on camera.
Yeah.
I also felt weird about putting that up. If you haven't seen it, it's the most popular one from the year. It got like 7 million views on Instagram. Went crazy. But
crazy.
It is crazy because it's out of pocket. Because this teenager in front of her father is like, I was like, what are your other crushes? Also, that wasn't me crossing. Like, I actually, when it's a kid, you're trying to toe this line of like, what's appropriate for me to even ask?
Of course, and the father's standing right behind you.
And and again, so I'm trying to be as respectful as possible.
Right,
and
of course.
You're
being professional.
That was when I was like, she's out of pocket.
That was true. Because that was when she was like not considering you as a human being.
And then, you flip it over and you're like, dude, man in the mirror. This is crazy.
Man on the street, man in the mirror.
Man in the mirror, dude. Like, this is tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wanted to fuck a couple of football players, and then she said she generalized it to any big black linebacker, which is pretty crazy.
It's a crazy out of pocket thing to say.
But offensive tackle would have been more gnarly. That's a 6'7" behemoth of a man that doesn't take care of himself and his diet's out of control. Big black linebacker might be.
I think that in general, now that we just switched in general to me and Liz were talking about this a little bit. I think that a lineman they're sneaky athletic. You don't realize.
I completely agree. But if your type is that like that body type,
I see
a middle linebacker seems more. I mean, this is a guy that's built like a gladiator.
100%, 100%.
Where like if you just, I mean, you've got some real daddy issues if you're going after the left tackle.
100%. I've really been enjoying the Jason Kelce experience that has been happening the last week. Have you been seeing what this guy's doing?
I like him in general. Cincinnati guy.
Oh, are they?
They went to both of them went to the University of Cincinnati.
Where are they from?
No, they're from I want to say outside of Cleveland.
Oh, but they
both
family.
went. So Travis and Jason, Cincinnati Bearcats, under the good teams. If you're college football fan, there were some good Cincinnati football.
Did they
teams.
play together? No.
So Jason Kelce went there first, and Travis was there like maybe the last year he was there. So they overlapped for a year, and Travis almost got kicked off the team, did a bunch of dumb stuff, and Jason was the one that kind of mentored him back to
really? What'd he
playing
do?
football. You know what? I don't know. I think it was like typical college shit, like partying and all that. But.
I just like that. Obviously, Travis is making all this news with Taylor Swift, etc. Don't even need to go into it. People know, but like, I just like that Jason Kelce is just in all the photos and videos. He's just chilling. He was wearing a luchador mask.
Sure.
It was like
he's just a dude with a drinking problem.
Yeah, 100%.
And I respect that.
And he's freshly retired.
Yeah, so do your thing. Like you've put in the work. I love it.
It's always weird because the athletes are retiring at like our age.
Dude, I know. How old are you?
31.
So I'm old. So I'm 37.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely, first of all, LeBron's still playing, and I'm like, dude, barely holding on to this comedy career. Like what? He's like still putting up like crazy points, dude, dropping 35.
Dude, LeBron has been in the NBA since I was in 5th grade.
Crazy.
And I've been paying taxes for 13 years.
He's a tough comp. But like regular people are retiring at this age. And I mean, running backs are retiring at 31.
Or CTE, younger. Yeah. Well, CTE is a whole different thing. I mean, some people are retiring at 27.
That's true. Yeah. But the running backs they can't make it to 30 anymore.
Yeah, but a guy like, well, how old is Jason? Your age?
He's probably, I would think, yeah. Maybe a little younger. I don't know.
That's funny, dude. I mean, these guys just have their whole lives ahead of them, and they've kind of like, most of them, I feel they have stuff that they're going to do, but it is weird to think like now there's their time that they're going to party and like go on a boat and whatever.
Yeah, they banked. Hopefully they did some banking.
I feel like the Kelces have some cash.
Dude, they're gonna. Yeah, that's what Travis is gonna be. He's gonna be fine.
Well, that's for sure. Even before Taylor.
Yeah.
And he's got a little bit of that.
Dude, he's the most
He's
famous.
got the Pfizer money.
Yeah, he's the most famous. Yeah, right. Dude, I know.
It's not this guy.
This guy.
It's not that kind of podcast.
No. Oh my god! Don't get me started on that, dude. Do you really need both the Band-Aids, bud? You kidding me, dude?
Oh man.
Jesus. I think with the Travis and Taylor thing, it's so funny that I actually am not even mad at either of them as individuals. I just think we as a country can't handle it. And it's more telling of we as a country are just like incapable of just being like, this is fine that they're together.
Because
I don't know.
It's just too much.
It's too much. Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah.
The overlap. You have to, as a man, now you have to have a fully formed opinion on Taylor Swift. And we're just like, no.
Right.
And then the girls are mad because then they have to like football or act like they like
football.
And so both sexes have overcorrected. It's like the pendulum swinging too.
I never thought about that.
It's crazy. I don't think we can deal with it.
And I think you're right. It's an overload because football is already so popular.
Yeah.
It's already the most popular thing in America.
Right.
Period. I think regardless of sports.
Yes.
It's the most watched thing in America.
It's popular during the middle of baseball season.
Exactly.
It's the most popular thing.
So to have the biggest celebrity or the biggest singer kind of enter the universe of football, I think you're right. I think it's almost like a nuclear chain reaction.
And the epitome of the female voice in this generation. Like, she talks about, her lyrics are voicing women's frustration in a lot of different situations and relationships.
This is a Taylor Swift podcast.
This is crazy. and men now have to be like, fine, she's cool.
I mean, she is cool. I think
she's cool.
I think this
she's
is
fine. She's not. She can't dance though. That's my big thing.
Listen, dude, I don't want to get attacked. I'm in the early stages of the podcast.
That's all I'm saying.
You're gonna get me review bombed. You're talking about she can't dance.
She's a talented singer.
I got 3 reviews on iTunes. Spotify hasn't accepted me yet.
She's a talented singer-songwriter, but I'm telling you right now, Usher, great example at the Super Bowl, just is a better dancer. He's a more talented overall person.
Yeah, Usher was he was soaked.
That guy was sweating.
The man was soaked.
Patrick Ewing in the fourth quarter.
I mean, I'm sweaty right now. I'm a sweaty guy in general. I can identify. Are you sweating on stage doing stand up?
No, I've observed people sweat on stage, and I'm like, Jesus, is that what's going on up there? It's crazy. I've always been lucky. I will pit up though. I'll pit out.
Okay.
I'll stupidly be like, this gray shirt is cool.
Yeah.
And then you're like halfway through a set and you're like, oof.
Dude, I wore a gray shirt on a podcast last year. I think you did it. I think here's the scenario.
Oh yeah, not together, but I've done that.
Yeah. I think you did it maybe like a couple weeks before I did. But because I remember seeing
good
you
boys.
on the
Those are good
thing.
boys.
Classic guys. Brendan on the pod. I did an episode with him. He's banked.
Oh, he's banked?
He's banked.
Wow, saggy banks.
You guys are in the vault together.
Wow, you should get the other boys, Feeney and Cam.
I will. I'm gonna get them if I
fun.
As soon as I can. But I wore a gray shirt on the subway in like July.
Yep.
And I mean, I showed up. It looked like I looked like Woody in White Man Can't Jump. It was crazy. I was just like, it was like I'd been running on the track or something.
Sure.
And I'm on this podcast, and so you can't
Here's
really.
the scenario. I was running on the track before this.
Here's the scenario. I think I have a gland problem.
Yeah, what's going on? You big sweater?
I am a big sweater. I've always been. This is when I think of sweat, I think of coming back from like recess or like even lunch, dude. Not even recess. Not even a
physical activity
active break. Yeah. And being on those remember those black tables that you would have in science class.
Oh yeah,
like really taut, and just putting my forearms on there and then lifting up my forearm and just seeing my entire print of my arm like a newspaper in silly putty, and just thinking, man, I gotta figure out a way to curb this. I was a bigger kid too, obviously. I mean, I'm a big guy.
Did you pop out? When did you get tall?
I was always tall, and then I got really tall. I grew 8 inches in 9th grade.
That's crazy.
But I was always a tall kid.
And then you had to play basketball. That's the thing with a size like that is if you told me you never played basketball, I think that it's in my right to be mad at you. I think that's a waste of I think about that with tall people sometimes. I'm like, bro, you didn't even try to play basketball.
But you also got to imagine, like, that is exactly what happened. But to me, as like a 14-year-old, and I wanted to play basketball, but there was a lot of anger.
You'd
still.
be an asshole if you didn't.
Totally.
I want you to know that.
And there was a lot of anger still towards me because I wasn't very good.
Oh, really? No touch. I don't see you as a touch guy.
Oh, see, that's where you're wrong.
Oh, you're a touch boy.
I got touch, but then I can't jump over a credit card.
Oh, really? You got no ups. All right. You ever think about how tall people?
I'm like Jokic.
I had a buddy. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're Jokic. Okay. All right. I had a buddy that used to do a joke about how tall people. There's never any old tall people. You ever think about how your lifespan's probably 10 years shorter than most?
Oh, come on.
You're never going to be the president of this country. I'll tell you that right now.
You think I'm too tall to be the president?
I think you're not going to live to be old enough to be the president.
35. What am I, a Great Dane? What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't see it in you. Tall people don't know. You don't age well.
I think Adam Carolla has a story about saying that to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar being like, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I think, is like 80. Bill Russell lived to like his 90s. I mean, dude, there's some
anomalies.
My grandpa lived to 95. He was 6'4", so I think I'm doing okay.
All right, that's fine. Ooh, 6'4". What are you?
6'6".
Oof.
Those extra 2 inches are gonna.
Wow, you and Jordan.
I know, you're telling
MJ, dude.
Me and Jordan and who else?
6'6". There's a lot of 6'6". I think Paul Pierce is 6'6".
Is he?
I think Kobe was 6'6" ish.
He was.
I think he's 6'6".
Kobe was 6'6".
6'6" is a nice shooting guard. That's a nice 2-3 shooting guard in the 90s.
But it's a high school Jokic.
Now it's actually like a 4. 6'6". Like you can be like you can actually get away with being a 4 as a 6'6".
In the NBA.
In the NBA.
Yeah. I'm talking about high school. I was pretty.
You are a center.
I was Ostertag.
You're low block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
you big country guy?
I was big
Brian
country.
Reeves?
Yeah, I was right. That's perfect. I was George
Eric
Mershon.
Montross. You're definitely not any black center. I know that.
Yeah, we're just thinking of white centers. Oh, speaking of which,
maybe you're a big tractor trailer. What was his name?
Rest in peace, I believe.
Yes, he's a dead man. Vin Baker.
That's a funny way. That's a funny way to say someone. Instead of rest in peace, he is a dead man.
He is a dead man. He is since deceased.
Prayers to, in all seriousness, to Scott Pollard, who is
I saw
in the hospital waiting a heart transplant. So we hope.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my
knock on 10 for Scotty boy.
But really, for real.
I mean, that was a good ball player. He's on the Kings there for a while.
Loved he had the samurai cut for a minute. He had the mutton chops. I respect him. I hope he gets well.
I miss the NBA when it was just these bangers down low. You just don't have nobody bangs down low.
Nobody bangs. Believe me. I mean, I'm
Glenn Davis was the last one, maybe.
Yeah, I remember that video. I mean, I might even cut to it, just like cutting to the mic'd up video. But I think I'm going to cut to the video of Glenn Davis getting elbowed in the head.
By who?
I think by Dwight Howard.
Okay.
And he just like I think it concussed him.
Was it in that the game in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And I think the Magic actually won that season
they went to the finals.
They went to the finals, which is the weirdest team to ever go to the finals.
Hito Turkoglu
went to the Hito. He was on that Pollard Kings team.
He was.
Fun connection. Kings, originally Cincinnati Royals.
I was just about to ask, did the Cincinnati ever have an NBA team?
They should. That would be a good city to have a basketball team. We have the Cincinnati Bearcats and the Xavier Musketeers, and they're like kind of all we need.
Right.
But the way the college basketball is going, we would love an NBA team.
And you have a baseball team and you have a football team.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you guys have...
We have a soccer team that sells out like every game too.
It's a huge... Is it the biggest... One of the biggest cities in Ohio, if not the biggest?
Oh, you know what? No, I think it's weirdly it's third.
Is it third?
It's Columbus, Cleveland, and then Cincy.
It's weird that Columbus is the biggest one.
I agree. I would have actually guessed Cleveland.
Is it because of the school?
Probably. I don't know. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Fun comedy town, man.
You know what? I got to go there. There's a really good Don't Tell comedies there too.
You got to do Don't Tell Columbus. I did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I got to go. Yes, shout out to Simon Fraser.
Shout out to Simon Fraser, who, by the way, you go and do Don't Tell Columbus, and you hang out with Simon Fraser after the show. It's like hanging out with the Rolling Stones.
I've heard that.
I mean, the guy.
He's a man about town.
I was texting with Zach
Galifianakis.
Galifianakis, a friend of the show, also vaulted. He's banked deep, but so deep, in fact, you'll never see him on the podcast or hear me speak about him.
He's
But
Roth.
Zach Pugh, I think he was there with Laura Peak this weekend.
Okay.
And
I feel like
asked
I know
him,
Zach Pugh. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a LA guy, super funny. I asked him if Simon was like getting attention after, and he was like, it was crazy. I'm like, dude, he's the mayor.
Yeah.
And it's because he's a funny kid, and also
He's very funny.
He did some like Columbus bit.
Yes, and it went viral.
Like kind of like you ever do a memorization bit? No shade to the memerization bit.
Oh, what does that mean? Like the one that he does about the countries? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, because he has a no, his Columbus bit is like a extended monologue bit, kind of like a Carlin-esque. Remember when you used to go to Mike's? This is not really a thing of stand-up comedy anymore, which is why it's fun and refreshing to see someone like Simon do it. Now we really get into the stand-up comedy science here.
Let's go.
Which, I'm always down for.
I love it.
You know when somebody does a really long bit that's kind of an uninterrupted thing of like, this is funny, but I'm also showing you that I took the time to memorize this. Does that make sense? Yes. Obviously, we memorize everything we say.
It's almost a written rant.
Exactly.
That Carlin's were written rants.
Yeah. I'm up, I'm down, I'm around, I'm here. You know?
I loved Carlin.
Me too.
I got to see him one time.
Really?
Yeah. And he was working on the hour. And
wow.
I was a freshman in high school, so 14.
Oh, wow.
Because he died in 2008, I think. And this is probably 2000. 2001, 2002. And he was working on an hour, and
that's Angry Carlin, right?
It was Angry Carlin, and he had the piece of paper.
He was holding it.
He was working on it because obviously he's not going to always nail it.
No, but dude, also the reason he's doing that too is he was like a guy who wrote everything out, and he also would wake up in the morning and type out his set. Like that's how he wrote his stand-up, which I guess some people do. And it's again, I'm not shitting on somebody.
I think both of us are so loose.
I know. I think I'm loose. I think I'm loose to an extreme fault.
I think I actually, what's so funny is I used to not be loose.
Really?
I used to be pretty regimented. Like,
are you serious?
I was like,
you're
almost
loosey goosey, man.
I'm like the loosest probably.
Yeah, dude.
And I love it, and I think it's very fun. But I used to have like the 15, and it was like, yo, this is the 15, and this isn't like we're not deviating much at all from it. And I used to be a little bit more like that. I got to get back to that. What am I doing?
I got off stage once right before I moved here. It was at New York Comedy Club, and this guy, Elon Altman, who's a buddy of mine. He's a super funny guy. Does a host of The Cellar a lot now.
Okay.
I got off stage in New York Comedy Club. I had a decent set, but not like amazing or whatever. But I got off stage and he goes, "That's the first time I've ever seen you not have a complete meltdown."
Yeah. Well, your meltdowns are so fun.
My meltdowns, it's still, thank you, but it still made me go, what you just said of like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It's also by the way, Elon, crazy thing to say to somebody.
It's out of pocket.
Completely out of pocket. I mean, it's the equivalent of that teenage girl.
It's funny because I didn't ever write out the set. I've never like written jokes. It's a lot of like repeat it until it's a thing, which is writing. I just don't like
Of course that's writing.
Yeah.
I think that's what most people do. I think we both do that.
Yeah. I know certain people write the whole thing. Or not the whole thing, but like type it out, write out their jokes. I'm more of a like, this is maybe the joke that I want to make, and then let's just like fill this stuff out on stage, and here's an angle, here's this, and then it becomes a thing that you repeat.
I remember reading Norm said that he had the final line written, and then everything else was what you're talking about, where he filled it in to get to that final line.
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit more like that. And then as you keep repeating it, then it grows and it grows, and it's so fun. Of course, I love doing it like that because it feels fresh every time. Yeah, but now I'm like, and I also love being so loose with it too, because the biggest compliment I have sometimes is like people are like, as weird as it is, but they're like, it just feels like you're just up there talking, like, and you're not like
I think
scripted.
That's the best. Totally.
Because I know, we both know watching comics sometimes where you're like, this is too written almost. Like it's too. Whereas the refreshing thing that you're talking about with Simon is it is so well written. Yeah. That you don't mind that it's written because that it's written.
Exactly, and it's like it's a throwback in a good way. And so he did this Columbus long thing about like a long rant about how great why Columbus is the greatest city
Yeah.
in America.
Not, but okay.
Yeah, obviously
Not
not.
accurate.
Yeah, not
It's
even
like
top.
Cleveland without the glitter.
Yeah, is it top 50?
I
Probably
don't.
not.
I did. Columbus is grimy as fuck.
Yeah, but you go out with him and people are like, cheersing him. Women are all over him. It's an unbelievable.
What a town to have women all over you. Columbus, Ohio.
The ladies of Columbus, they
Good
love
Lord.
Simon, and he's a good guy. But what you're
He's a
saying
good
makes me think of like the certain types of, because what you're talking about with like that sort of conversational style where everything's kind of, you're talking stuff out, feels like that's kind of the norm now, even if some people are a little more written than others. But it used to be like when we started comedy, there was a lot of guys who, like, I don't know where these guys went, but the guys who like stood still and did very short kind of like Hedbergy kind of one-liners.
Oh, yeah.
But not exactly Hedberg, because Hedberg had this coolness to him.
Well, everybody tries. The ultimate goal is Hedberg.
Right.
But even if you're halfway there, it still can be pretty fun.
Of course.
You hate it when it's you're trying too hard to be somebody else. Just be yourself.
Exactly. But I don't know where those, it's tough because as podcasts have gotten bigger and as people have, I think, gotten, this is just my theory, but as people have gotten kind of more in touch with like being a fan of somebody, and like knowing the guy who is the comic, it's hard to have a guy who's just like be a weird personality.
Stephen Wright probably wouldn't pop these days, right? Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
He would in some way, but the way that he did back then, it is. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know, because I do know exactly what you're talking about. When I was coming up in Phoenix, there's dudes that did that with the short, just one-liners.
Yeah.
And then there's also a dude that used to do the written rants. And
dude,
he was a crazy older dude.
Yeah.
And sometimes you were like, dude, you got to get out of this open mic, dude. You crossed some lines on that one. I don't know what you think is going on politically in this country, but that ain't it. It's like, and also he was the type of guy where I'm like, dude, I love crossing lines. That was wrong.
Yeah.
Like those type of older guys.
100%. I mean, the older, the over 50, over 60 guy at the mic in 2014.
They're either great or problematic.
Oh yeah. I mean,
they're rarely great.
There was a guy who, I won't say his name, but he was like maybe in his 50s at the time. He's probably in his 60s now, naturally. Who he was a ex-cop, ex-NYPD guy. Okay. And he used to just, he was really new, and he used to just kind of go up and talk, like, not really jokes, just kind of that thing of like ranting and kind of in a really aggressive way. And then one day, someone sent me a New York Post link.
Oh no.
I guess he had gotten really fucked up at a bar.
Yeah.
And left his gun in his like retirement service weapon, because you get to carry a gun if you're retired NYPD.
Oh, that's real?
Yeah.
That's a perk.
It is a perk.
That's a nice perk.
He left his gun in a bar bathroom and then came back and it was gone. And it was like, and then the news came to his house and he was like holding a little dog being like, I don't know where my gun is.
Oh my
God. I know that guy.
And he's doing his rant
about
guns.
I'm like, talk about that. Like you go up and talk about losing your gun. I think you're going to, you get on Carson or whatever.
Yeah. Kimmel will hit you up. Change your life.
100%. I mean, it changed my life watching it.
Is Kimmel doing stand-up anymore? I don't think.
I don't know. I don't know who is.
How do we make it in this country anymore?
I think we just got to keep plowing away, getting banked, and hoping for the best.
I love when my friends get opportunities in comedy that like you get on like Colbert or Fallon or whatever. But then you're also like, man, that used to be so much cooler.
Totally.
Still really cool though, because now your mom knows that you're
sure. There's a validating aspect to kind of getting milestones in. What do you call it? Like legacy media. But you're right. It is weird.
Legacy media. Yeah. That's amazing.
Is that a burn?
Oh my God, dude. That's crazy.
I mean that kind of with the
That's amazing. No, that is super accurate. I know exactly what you mean. Oh, so you've got a set on legacy media then? Okay. All right.
I want to.
Well, I'm on YouTube and I'm selling out theaters. So, but you're on legacy media. That's what's up, dude. Yeah. Super dope, dude.
I want to name my LLC Legacy Media.
Yeah.
No, but like, it's weird that when we started, there were like these ladders to climb, or ladders, rungs to hit on the ladder that just faded away into nothingness.
It's crazy.
Which I don't think it used to be. Like, people, I talked to comedians who started way back, and they're like, oh yeah, I used to like have to submit mail VHSs to clubs,
right,
things like that. And obviously that's changed, but it is so much more different than to have it go from, like, it used to be Carson, now it's Letterman, now it's Conan, and now it's nothing.
Now it's so many avenues that there's no avenues.
Exactly.
And now there used to be. It's funny. I think I don't know if we were talking about this or somebody, but like, it's funny how it used to be a situation where like there's so many gatekeepers, now there's no gatekeepers, and you're like,
yeah,
this is cool and this is what we wanted. But once, it's almost like a dog chasing a car. We got the car. Mm-hmm. Now we don't know what the fuck to do with the car.
Right.
And some people are popping off that are like, maybe they should be gate kept. So I don't know.
You heard it here first.
You should have been gate kept, sir.
We should have closed the gate.
Yeah, gate should have been closed.
Maybe a little electric fence,
something.
I just watched. I was just, I was in a TikTok. This is a total tangent. I was in a but that's what it's all about here. I was in a TikTok rabbit hole of bears walking on electric mats in like Tahoe. People have like Ring cameras in like Tahoe and Big Bear
to let you know that there's a bear in your neighborhood. Or
so
something?
Like, they set up cameras around their porch, and like grizzlies will try to come into their house or whatever. And when they leave the house, when they leave, leave Tahoe or whatever, right. They put down these electrified doormats. And so when the grizzly bears, it doesn't kill them, but when the grizzly bears walk onto it, they go, oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's where you're at on TikTok right now?
Yeah, I mean, haven't you been in some weird rabbit holes?
I've been doing a lot of industrial design stuff.
Yeah, so don't be telling me about
just metal making. Okay. Just smoothing out a doorknob.
There's a big gap between 31 and 37. I'm watching bears get iced.
I'll go pimple pop stuff too, and then I'll do what else? Oh, I'm just a big neck crack guy too, like the big the chiro guys,
dude. Totally.
You like those? Some people hate those.
I think it depends. I mean, I
love it.
Chiropracting. I met a chiropractor at a show, and I asked him a question. I was like, "Why do I have this thing on my neck?" And he grabbed me. I was like, "We're good. We're good." He was like, "It's okay." I'm like, "Dude, hands off."
Did you ever watch those and think like, I could just tell you what I think you should do and just do it?
What do you mean? Like you figure
you're
out,
like, dude, this, I could have my brother do this stuff. Like, just crack my neck.
Well, it's dangerous enough, I think, with the chiropractor, but
they make it look pretty easy.
I know. Have you ever gotten it done?
No, I'm terrified to do it because I also have heard the overarching theme of like chiropractors is either like do it or it could ruin your life and you'll always need a chiropractor. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like, not ruin
100%.
your life, but like if you do it, then you're gonna always have to go back to have that release again.
And you can really get injured doing it, but I've had great. I mean, dude,
you've done it.
It feels great, or at least you think it feels great.
What happened to just getting somebody to walk on your back? You know what I mean?
I
had that growing up.
You had that?
Oh yeah, growing up, just have my brother. I'd lay down flat and he'd walk on my back, crack every bone.
We used to do the thing where you link arms and then you pick one guy up over your.
Oh yeah,
you lift. You lean forward.
Yeah, do that or get a bigger guy to do the bear. You're probably giving a lot of people the bear hug, right?
Yeah, the kind of Heimlich-esque sort of thing.
Cross your arms. Can we do that post after this epi? Actually,
I was hoping we start the episode with that. I thought you'd never ask. Speaking of that, we were at the diner last night with it was a good crew.
Good squad. I was thinking about that. It was a good crew.
It was a good crew.
No weak links.
No weak links. You, me, McCone.
Who I just met.
Oh, you just met him? Nice guy. Great guy.
Blandford,
Jason Ellis, and Ian
Fidance, and then a Jeremiah sighting at the end.
Jeremiah rolled up.
Just popping in.
Yeah, and who had just followed Sandler.
Yes.
The Comedy Store.
Did you see the interaction where Jeremiah Watkins followed Adam Sandler at the Comedy Store? We're all getting served by the server at Mel's Diner or whatever it is, right, Norm's?
Yeah.
And the server's like, oh, we saw Sandler came in here earlier, and he actually walked out. He had this whole but Sandler's great. He's such a nice guy, blah, blah.
He was here with his daughter.
And yeah, he's there with the daughter. And Jeremiah's like, I just followed him at the Comedy Store. And the server was like, yeah, he's a nice guy. He comes in. He dismissed it like so quickly. And Jeremiah had just told him probably one of the coolest things that's ever happened in his
Yeah,
career.
he didn't care.
And the server was just like, okay, because the thing is, in a comedian's mind, we think that everybody knows what I followed Adam Sandler at the Comedy Store means. It means it's one of the coolest things you could do. But to a civilian, they're like, so you stalked him
Right.
at a place that sells comedy?
As soon as he said that, I was like, that's probably what it sounds like.
That sentence doesn't make sense to anybody else.
My buddy was behind him behind Sandler he followed Sandler at Macy's, and Sandler was just in there.
Now we're going back to the actual term.
Yeah, now we're going to the real follow.
Yeah,
the true follow. The broader term of the broader definition. Sandler was just ahead of him. What do you think he was buying?
I mean, you just kind of gave away sweatpants. I would think maybe I would say, hold on, Macy's.
Yeah, but
you can get anything at Macy's.
You can get anything at Macy's.
What about
you can buy a gun at Macy's?
Oh, what about basketball shoes or
Close.
shorts?
Yeah, basketball shorts.
Yeah,
which is just cool because he was just going to a pickup game, but he was like, "Oh, I gotta get a pair of shorts or whatever."
Oh, you have a Sandler?
I tried, and then it went away immediately. That was tough, dude. What you just heard was tough.
Ooh, doggy.
My brief kind of maybe 2-second attempt at an impression.
I gotta get the basketball shorts.
That sounded like have you seen 8 Crazy Nights?
I didn't see that one.
No.
I'm a Catholic. We do one pretty abrupt night.
It's the cartoon. It's the Hanukkah cartoon.
Yeah, no, I know.
You know what it is.
Yeah, I've chosen not to watch the film.
Jews, a lot of Jews in Cincinnati. I want to get to Cincinnati.
Oh, dude, I grew up with so many Jews.
Yeah.
I went to so many mitzvahs.
Did you?
I think it was specific to my high school, but in
Cincinnati, you went to a shul.
Yeshiva.
You going to a yeshiva high school would be the ultimate turn.
I went to yeshiva as a Gentile.
Yeah.
No, so I the funny thing also about Cincinnati is when somebody else is from Cincinnati, you ask them where they went to high school,
sure,
and you find out like everything you need to know about the person.
Got you.
It's definitely one of those cities where you know kind of who you are generally.
Yeah.
So I went to Sycamore.
Okay.
And
people
and everybody out
there's
probably getting chills.
Yeah, they're gonna hit pause and
like,
go,
"Oh my lord!"
I thought you went to yeshiva.
This is a white dude that is very familiar with hip hop in the early 2000s and late 90s. We had a pretty substantial Jewish population. It was like on Jewish holidays, it was like almost like we should have called it off.
Oh, wow.
Like 15-20% is a lot, right? I think.
I mean, that's
That's
probably the most. That's more than Israel. That's crazy.
You know what? Then maybe I'm exaggerating. All I know is there was a lot. I have dude, my best friends growing up. My best friends still to this day. Oxtein, Goldstein. There was a Barsman. Trying to think of good Jewish names.
I mean, you just gave me you gave me 4 of the best names I've ever heard.
Gary Trick, Jewish guy.
Gary Trick was Jewish.
Yeah, that team was a lot. That's why we weren't that good at baseball. A lot of Jews.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Barsman at second base was a weak link.
Yeah, the Jews haven't been good. We haven't been too good at baseball for about 70 years.
You know how? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Sandy Koufax.
Right.
The Sean Green gave it a run, but not much.
That's true.
So I was such a Jewish community that I had a buddy named Dan McGrath. Went to his bar mitzvah.
McGrath?
I'm almost certain I went to his mitzvah. Yeah, McGrath. That's just a marriage thing, right? But
yeah, it could be a Jewish mom or just Irish Jew.
Yeah.
Any relation to Mark McGrath?
Who knows? But a lot of my homies are Jewish, and also I think it molded my humor as well. Very good 100%. Sense of humor for sure.
You like you got kind of the Larry David. I feel like you got some of that. You got some Seinfeld-y.
I definitely was.
Not that you're a Seinfeld-y stand-up, but I feel like you got the sensibility.
I have the sensibilities of angsty Jews for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like because a lot of if it wasn't my homies, it was their parents.
Right.
That were just like you're just like, what is this? What is this energy from your mother? I've never even. She's mad about what? So,
that's hilarious.
It was crazy. But it was a great perspective, and it also is one of those things where when you're growing up, you just accept it as. I didn't overthink it, and then you get into the real world, and you're like, oh, you didn't grow up with a bunch of Jewish people?
Totally. And there's nothing like the bar mitzvah experience.
Yeah, it was great. It's where we learned how to grind. Because I was 13 in 1999.
Wow.
So
dude.
98, 99. So I'm talking like Next, Too Close was a song that was played a lot. Cotton Eye Joe, obviously.
Yeah, we all had Cotton Eye Joe.
But like,
that's timeless.
but
I think they're still
honestly,
doing Cotton Eye Joe.
I think like it had just popped like in 97, 98.
Yeah.
This was like fresh stuff. Tootsie Roll.
You know what was fresh for you? Macarena.
Oh, Macarena was like 100%. Like these are things that were like just kind of popping, and you're like, dude, we're ripping this up this weekend.
And I will say, to the credit of your whatever mini generation that 13 and 1999 is, Macarena, Cotton Eye Joe, these are cultural staples.
100%.
Macarena is the equivalent. I would say Macarena is on the level. I don't want to speak too out of turn here. I would put it on the level of the Star Spangled Banner, or at least America the Beautiful.
I put it above it, but that's just me. And
Fair enough.
that's more of a sign of where we are as a country. Dude, also when I was that age, dude, to the left. Take it back now, y'all.
Oh yeah,
that was like that had just come out. And we were like, dude, this is gonna fuck shit up on Saturday. Dude.
Honestly, it's like going to middle school in like the night in like the cultural or like the cultural enlightenment or something.
Dude, it was crazy.
You know?
Yes, 100%. It was, and then
it's like going to middle school and they discovered fire.
Brian McKnight back at 1, like the slow songs were crazy.
Oh
Casey and JoJo.
All My Life.
All My Life. These are fresh songs. So it was a crazy time to be mitzvahed up.
You know, before we wrap up, I try, for everybody, I try to find some like mysteries and stuff or unsolved shit from where you're from.
Okay.
And I gotta say, Cincinnati, they solved a lot of stuff.
Not that well. We were in the first 48, almost every other episode. We got 48 hours to solve this crime,
but they figure it out.
Yeah,
you guys figure it out. You even had a guy. One thing I did. You ever hear of the Cincinnati Strangler?
Ooh, I don't think I have.
I think he died in like 2008, but he was a guy who, not a good guy. Let me just start there. He strangled and he did a lot of bad stuff, and then I think he went to prison for life. But then here's what happened. They got him on 2 murders.
Okay.
And then they were like, "We think you're the Cincinnati Strangler," and he was like, "No,
not me."
And then when he went to prison, people stopped getting strangled. And so they were like, whatever that's called, like they inferred
deductive
reasoning. Thank you very much. And yeah, man. I mean, look, I got a whole team. We were researching stuff. People, I just didn't realize you come from the land of solved mysteries.
100%. We got a lot. Yeah, we got some bad people, but we figured them out. Most of our crimes happen
gumshoe town.
You know what I'm saying? Most of our crimes happen just in broad daylight.
Yeah, it's a cop's
like
town. It's a first 48 town.
Marge Schott was a blatant racist in public.
Yeah.
She said, "Let's put this on record."
Yeah.
I don't want to be closeted about my beliefs on
She
Adolf
was not
Hitler.
a nice lady, yeah.
She led us to a championship in 1990, and you got to love that. That was a good team, wire to wire. We upset the Oakland A's powerhouse. But yeah, we had some problematic people, but they were right in front and center. Pete Rose, right out there. Let you know what he was doing. Well, he lied about it for years.
Eventually, he let you know.
That was actually the biggest mystery for a while.
I think under threat of imprisonment, he let people know what he was doing.
Well, you got to sometimes hold the feet to the fire.
And that's what happens. But so you got anything you want to play? We got Mic'd Up.
Yeah, Mic'd Up. Everything on YouTube. Michael Turner Comedy on YouTube. And then
you got great clips, baby. Great clips.
Great
on
clips.
IG. Great clips. Supercuts.
Turner Comedy on TikTok and Instagram. So and then turnercomedy.com if you want anything. I got some merch. I got some dates coming up, touring, all that stuff, and then the Bengals 2024 season. I'll be doing another tour. So
you can do home games too.
I'll do what I do is a couple of Cincinnati shows. But the road schedule is going to be great this year. I got big cities: New York City, Los Angeles, Nashville.
SoFi. It's gonna be crazy.
So
you've done SoFi though.
As a performer, yeah, I've sold out SoFi.
I mean, you're like Luke Combs.
Yeah, I've done a tailgate at SoFi. Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, dude. Well, thanks for doing this, and I think people are gonna drop hopefully people comment the actual Cincinnati mysteries that I couldn't find.
Yeah, there's some
we'll
stuff
have it back
out
on.
there.
We'll discuss it.
Yeah.